the South Day One Voice Community Coalition podcast. Today I have on members of our youth coalition. We're now going to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Sana Surushani, and I am the youth chair of SDOVCC.
Hello, my name is Anais Vasquez, and I am the vice chair.
Hi, my name is John Goodhue, and I'm the vice chair.
Great. Everybody doing good today?
Yeah.
Good. So again, glad to have them on. They're going to give you a little bit of feedback about, being part of the youth coalition, some more substance use stuff they're seeing from their side, and much more. So, quick question for you all: with things going back to school, how's school been for everybody?
Great.
Good.
School has
Again.
been very rough.
Okay.
I'm actually going through it. I've had 4 exams in the last week, but at least it's over.
That's what's up. So another thing that I thought about, since you guys are in school, what exactly, do you guys see differently compared to last year? And if there are any changes when it comes to substance use?
I personally haven't noticed much at all. It hasn't been a problem in my school for a very long time,
Okay.
thankfully.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think at my school, we don't have much of that. It's more like we don't really have much of like substance abuse or anything like that. So
Yeah, I agree. We don't really, well, I don't really see like a lot of substance abuse personally, but I know it's a big issue because of the neighborhood it's in.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when I was in high school, our biggest thing really would just be like the bathroom smelling like weed, and then everybody can't use that bathroom for like the rest of the day because they found somebody doing like an investigation and things like that. So, is there any signage up in your school? Like any like don't use substances or signages?
There's none in my school.
Okay.
None for mine.
Okay.
there's some signs in the back of the bathroom
Okay.
stalls. It's like if you have substance abuse or like the hotlines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 988 hotline?
Yeah, the hotlines they're on there.
That works. Okay. So what about the community? I know there's a lot of new things out there that's continuously changing. Most recently we found out they have Bluetooth vapes. So you have vapes that allow calculators, games, phone calls, music playing. There's a lot of new stuff out there. Have you guys really recognized anything? Really?
I've never even heard of that. But on TikTok, I heard about Galaxy Gas. That's
Galaxy.
pretty scary.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the Galaxy Gas and what you may have saw?
From my knowledge, I'd say, Galaxy Gas is basically like the something hydrogen monoxide, something like that, that they use to make whipped cream, like
Make whipped cream.
yeah,
Gotcha.
that. And then it's not advertised for you to like inhale it, but the packaging says otherwise. And then like some guy did it and like he got high obviously. And then like he went viral on TikTok and then that like literally sparked a trend and then all of a sudden left and right people are getting Galaxy Gas. And it's really scary to see because it's like it's obviously not safe, but they're still doing it. And yeah.
So I saw Galaxy Gas as well, and pretty much yeah, people are inhaling it, of all ages, and they're pretty much getting high immediately because it's going straight to their brain. Anybody else seen anything in the community new?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like the Bluetooth vapes
Okay.
on TikTok. It's crazy. Like you just see them like playing on there. Like wow, like it's not like it's a new phone or something, but like that like attracts people towards it because like it's like something new, I guess, and it's like evolving as we evolve. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, you got
I
anything?
haven't heard of either of those, but that's not very surprising with the way that so many kids are addicted to vaping. So,
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was speaking to my coworkers earlier, and it's just like when I remember seeing all of this coming up, they started off with the flavors. They wanted you guys to have the flavors, the different colors, something that's gonna attract you guys. But I feel like now they have the attention of the youth, they direct it over to what else is popular? Technology. So technology being a big thing, it's just like you get the flavors, you get the shapes, and now I can get them to have pretty much a mini iPod attached to their vape for the cheap price. I've seen some for only $15, $30. So it's just like they're making them accessible to youth, they're making them attracted to youth, but they won't say it's advertised for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's another big thing. What about alcohol? Do you guys find that teens your age are still, drinking alcohol constantly? Or, maybe at parties, binge drinking or
Yeah,
anything?
not really like binge drinking, but more like parties and stuff. But like when they go to the beach, you see that a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really around like party and like I guess group hangout settings.
Okay,
That's like what because I don't think people really do it alone. If that makes sense.
got you.
Yeah.
So that's what I've seen personally.
I feel like I agree. I feel like I haven't really seen it much like anywhere. Like I don't really like parties or any of that. But like the few times I've gone out, it's more been like not like peer pressure, but it's been like, oh, my friend is doing this. I want to join her because she seems like she's having a fun time. And then that's how like the cycle of like, oh, she's drinking, I'm drinking, you're gonna drink, and so on.
I haven't really seen it, but like mostly like with kids a few years older than me, I have seen it more there.
Okay, so I was wondering because the law is still the age of 21, correct?
Yeah.
So do you know how some of these teens are even getting this alcohol? Like the stores allowing to minors buy alcohol, not checking IDs. What have you guys heard of or probably experienced yourself?
I would say it's not their parents' fault, but their parents are too lenient. So like they literally just restock their own alcohol supply and then not really worry about like where it's actually going. And then the kids would know, oh, my mom doesn't really care. Let me just grab a few of those and then yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, that's also what I've realized. And I know some people who like just go to like corner stores and they also just be getting it. And I'm just like, what? Yeah.
Maybe like fake IDs. I've heard of that.
Okay, so fake IDs are still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's just like when you think about drinking alcohol, and we know the brain doesn't develop till you're 25. How do you guys feel about the use of alcohol in, high school? Again, these are still teens. We're still trying to navigate through school, middle school, and high school just to graduate. How do you guys feel about teens using alcohol early?
I feel like it's like damaging their brain like it's so early where it's like trying to fit in. I feel like that's a point where they're doing it, so I want to do it too. And then they get into like that habit because all substances have like that uh, effect that you like get addicted to it. And so like that's what happens to certain people and then they get attached when they can't let it go. So I feel like that's like a problem.
I feel like the way I see it is like your brain is like moving at like constant speed until you're 25 and then that's like the final like the checkpoint, but then like every time I hear about like underage people or even just overage people just like drinking or using substances, it's just kind of like what I see as like there's now like glue on like the bottom of the track, so like now your brain is like slowing down its development. And then I feel like eventually, if you keep doing that over and over, like your brain doesn't even like have the movement to even pass the finish line anymore. So I just think it's really damaging. And yeah,
I agree with both of them. It definitely has adverse effects on people, especially if you're under the age of 25.
I think that she made a valid point because using substances overall is very damaging. So when you talk about alcohol, and it's something that's kind of readily available to most anybody. Like you said, you can get it in your home, and your friend can take it from their home. So now you guys have a abundance of alcohol simply from the home supply, like not even going out and purchasing it. It's there. So you talk about something that's damaging the brain slowly but quickly at the same time. Because again, you're drinking it more and more and more. You're 16 years old. By the time you are 25, what's left of you? That you've missed out on so many key moments, even in school. Sometimes you're having a hangover in school because you drunk over the weekend, but you can't process the information that you're getting while in school.
yeah,
So I think that's very important. But then again, another thing that's been going on is marijuana. I know everybody wants marijuana to be legal, but no one really knows the effects of marijuana. Everyone says it's not damaging, but who really knows? So, what about marijuana? What are you guys seeing with that, and your opinions on that?
so on my school, I've smelt it a lot in different parts of campus, but I've never actually like seen anyone like smoke it. But I also know like a lot of the arguments that are being made, mostly like online, is that marijuana is a form of like therapy and it like helps. And I feel like I agree with that to some extent, like especially if you do your research and like you know the effects it's gonna have and you do it in moderation and you do it for the purpose of that therapy and not for the purpose of just getting high. I feel like, yeah, that is beneficial. But I also feel like that's like such a low amount of cases than like what everybody is arguing for. Like 10,000 people are arguing for like we need to do marijuana should be legal because for therapy, like it's good for you. But it's like maybe only 100 of those 10,000 like actually like need it for therapy. And then I just feel like people don't do their research enough about it. And then that's what's damaging about it.
And that's the argument, real quick, not to cut you guys off, but I think she has a point there because a lot of people just hear the word marijuana and don't understand the different strains of marijuana. You have recreational use, there's medical use. So you're correct. There is some people who have actual medical conditions who are prescribed a certain strain of marijuana to sustain maybe certain symptoms from happening due to a certain disease they may have. So yeah, that is also true as well. But again, people don't understand that there is other strains of marijuana that's not even being, regulated anymore. People are getting different strains. It's also being mixed with different chemicals as well.
Yeah, so like to add on that, I agree like that it's used like for medical reasons, but then like it's not legal and there's walk by the park and you smell it, or like you walk by a school campus and you smell it, and it's like
Mhm.
yeah, it's like yeah, I don't know where I was going with that one, but um
I agree.
I don't usually like smell it at my school, but like in my neighborhood at the park, a lot of the times, like especially like near the playground, I do smell it. And it definitely like I've read about how it's gotten worse like over the past 20 years, like the different levels of CBD and THC, I think,
Yeah.
are like changing over time.
Yeah, so even I know I read on a few things as well, and a lot of these things they have what they call THC crystals. So they completely thrown the plant away. So now you have something that's 99% THC that's going to the brain, going to the body, and it's getting you high immediately, and you don't know what that's doing to the body. Like same thing what I call ruining the neurological system in the brain. When you're just inhaling something that's pure THC, no plants involved, you really don't know what can happen. Again, they're mixing this stuff with fentanyl and many other different chemicals, but then you take it back to again back to the plant. Like he mentioned, it's changed for 20 years. Like you don't know what's being helped to grow it. There's pesticides they're adding onto these things. So it's a lot of different things that people aren't taking into consideration when they're using marijuana.
yeah,
And I feel like
yeah,
to add on to that, like it's only been developed for these past, well, not only, but like it's mainly been developed these past 20 years. So you don't even know like the after effects of like what even will happen besides like the just now effects that happen. So I feel like that's also really, really scary.
Yeah, research is really haven't even came out yet because like you mentioned, it's just now changing.
yeah, and then like to add on that, like people are like same thing with alcohol, like getting it from friend, from the other friend, from the other friend, and like they don't know what's getting added in between everybody. So like when somebody like necessarily not overdose, but like or yeah, like overdose, then they don't know who it came from or why or what is in the system, and some of them can't get help for it because they just been laced and they get addicted to it, and there's nothing to go back onto.
Again, I agree with both of you guys, all three of you guys. I mean, it is scary, but I'm glad you mentioned overdose because that's another thing that's going on. People, and they started doing this when I was in school, are starting to take, pills, prescription medication, and opioids, so painkillers for athletes and things like that. Even if you guys get a wisdom teeth pulled out, and the problem with that is once you've got a painkiller, say you had a toothache, you get your wisdom teeth removed, they give you a painkiller. Now, when there's no more left, you're gonna look towards the streets. You can't go back to the doctor and they keep asking you for medicine, so you look towards the streets. And with that, you kind of just end up in a sticky situation because, like you mentioned before, it's being passed from hand to hand to hand. We don't even know who the original supplier is. So that could be extremely dangerous. So when it comes to the opioids, pesticides and prescription medications, are you guys seeing any of that in your schools or hearing about that? I know a lot of students take Adderall before tests, so
I would say I've never heard or like seen like prescription drugs being taken like at my school, but like quite a number of people, like four people, like in the past month of school, have asked me like, "Do you have some Tylenol? Do you have some Advil?" Like my head just really hurts, but it's like you're used to that, you know? And I feel like as long as you do it in moderation, that's okay because at the end of the day, you know your body, and if you do it in moderation and you like listen to what your body needs, I think that's okay. But the fact that they're so willing to ask like literally random people in school for that, that also kind of concerns me. But yeah,
I haven't seen it much. Like I remember mostly a couple years ago, not recently. A lot of my friends have like had like ADHD, things like that, where they were prescribed it. But like I've never really seen people taking it unprescribed personally.
Yeah, I agree. Like in my school, there's not. I've never seen anybody take any unprescribed or prescribed pills. I know a few people who have ADHD, and so they have like prescribed Adderall or like different like medicines towards ADHD. But other than that, no, not really.
And that's good because at least we know it's not something constantly happening in the community, nothing to
Yeah.
worry about. But again, when I was playing football, I had teammates who would take pain medication before the game for them it helped them play better. Maybe they're going with a serious injury that they're dealing with. But it's good to know that it's not something that's going on constantly that you guys are seeing every day because that is effective. That is you could lose friends because the overdose rates are so high, especially down south, especially in Miami for our age range and things like that. So I think it's important. But again, so how have being part of the youth coalition really helped you guys see this stuff from a different light or from different perspective?
Okay, so I want to start with this one. So I think I've been a part of the youth coalition the longest. Like I think this is second and a half, maybe third year. But like before here, like I went to like a really, really big school. I changed schools. Like my old school, it was really, really big. And it's literally like I would walk in the bathrooms and then immediately bubblegum here, Starburst here, cotton candy there. And it's just like I was like, okay, this is really weird, but it's also like, what am I gonna do about it? Like I can't identify every single person that has been vaping in this bathroom. So I'm just gonna like kind of ignore it and hope that like they don't do it again or like I don't have to see it again. But then joining the youth coalition, I was kind of like I was more educated on like what was going on and what I could personally do about it. And then using that, I was able to like develop like how I can go about like actually like speaking up against it, both to the people and to like administration in my school, around me, da da. And I just feel like that's kind of like helped me just become a better person because like now I'm more aware. Now I know like how to go about helping people and like hopefully how to reduce like the actual drug use around me. And I feel like that's been really beneficial to me.
Yeah, I agree with Sana. Like in my old school, it was like the same. Like it was even like to a point where they'll be like, "Oh, do you want to try it?" And it's like, like but it's like it was so like it was a norm at my old school that everybody were to do it or they just didn't know how to stop. And so like I didn't know what to do or what to say. I was just like, I can't help you. I don't know what to do. Um and so joining the youth coalition, I've like guess opened my mind in ways of how to help people and how to like get like information out to other people where they should know as well as I should know because I can help somebody else who's not open or who doesn't know about things that are getting laced or things that are like new, like Bluetooth vapes, which is not good because it's electronic that you're smoking. But yeah, so
I've seen personally people in my life, and I know that like I can't stop them from doing substances on like any level. Like if I ask them a bunch of times, it's not necessarily going to make them stop. So joining the youth coalition, it makes me more comfortable knowing it's like a community-wide effort rather than just like a person-to-person thing. Because a lot of the times when it's person to person, it doesn't work. Like they don't care.
To piggyback what they said, I think one of the most like effective things that like I've learned to do that seems to be effective is I'm a very social person, so I really like talking and I also really like good vibes. So like I try to be very positive. And positive plus social means I talk to a lot of people. But the fact that like vaping and like all of that is so common, like people don't even see like the effects of like how truly like dangerous that is in a way because they're also used to it. They think, oh, it's just flavored air, but it's not. So like what I started to do when I see like some of my friends doing that is like, ew. Like I like purposely like call them out for. I'm like, ew, why are you doing that? Like you could be doing so many other things. Like you're behind on this homework, you're behind on this. You could be watching this show. Why are you doing this? You're not even getting anything out of it. And then like I kind of like shame them playfully but not really playfully, and then that seems to like get them to be like, oh, you're right, what am I doing? And then like it helps usually from my perspective. So,
See, and I love that for you guys because again, we're here to not only really show you guys, but allow you guys to learn for yourself and bring stuff back to us. Because the same way we work together as a team, like he mentioned, person to person doesn't really help, but this is a community. So community-wide effort can really help change the narrative on substances, especially for the younger group, for teens in middle school and high school who really don't understand the harmful effects. So one more question before have you guys, lead me here. What are you guys looking for? Like what are you guys looking towards as far as learning? Like learning more or want to be more a part of?
I know one of the things I'm really looking forward to is our escape room. Yay! Oh my god, I actually can't wait. I know we're planning an escape room basically to like for now the theme is to showcase the like harmful effects of alcohol, like drunk driving. So I'm really excited to like start working on that and actually like make it interactive in a way so like people would actually like be excited of completing the learning, I guess. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
I'm looking forward to like branching out to multiple people and trying to get more people to learn because before I met Sina, I didn't really know much or like think it was I knew it was a problem, but I didn't think it was such a like a wide problem if that made sense. And like I started coming to the meetings and now I'm officer, vice chair.
Hope so.
And it just opened my eyes more to see like this person's like genuinely going through something and I can be there to help them or like help guide them in a certain direction or to an adult or somebody who can help them. And so I'm looking forward to being that bridge for them.
So I'm excited about the events like the escape room, and I'm also excited about bringing my friends into the club because I have a few friends who are interested in joining. So I'd like to expand it, of course.
That's great. So mention on that part, if you are interested, if you're watching this here and you're interested in joining Youth Coalition, you can email us at info@ovccsd.org. Thank you all for tuning in. Till next time.